So I am here in Atlanta for another fantastic machine learning and AI event. So I just thought I'll give you a quick overview of why you should learn Python and what are the different things that you can do with Python. So and then I'll primarily focus on one portion of it. So out of the bunch of the different things that you can do with Python, and which is going to be a data visualizations. So are you ready? Let's get started. Hey, thanks for joining. My name is Chris. I'm a data scientist and also a mentor. So if you guys need a mentor or help in getting into data science field, because that's the fastest way you can actually land into data science job. So please connect with me in LinkedIn or message me or comment me. So are you ready? So let's get it started. So why you should learn Python, right? So there are lots of things that you can do with Python. Basically, so in this time and age, so if you want to get a job in IT field, you will definitely have to learn Python. So what you can do with Python? So Python, you can use Python for software development. You can use it for data analysis. You can use it for automations. You can do all kinds of automations, like automate anything that you want with Python. And you can also do a data visualization. So you can build a beautiful charts and figure that can tell a great story to a stakeholder. You can do a machine learning, of course, like all the machine learning, most of the machine learning software are built using Python. And you can definitely do for artificial intelligence, AI. So all the AI like a chat GPT and then ML ops and all those things that you see that you've been hearing news about, they're all built using a Python. And you can also use for math and statistics. So all the boring stuff that you can that you do in your Excel sheet that takes like lots of time, you can do the same thing with Python in just few lines of code in just like almost a fractions of the time that you would spend in trying to get the answer using Excel. You can also use for web development. So if you're a web developer, so Python is even easier. And you can definitely do for web applications. So these are some of the things that you can do with Python. So I'm definitely not. I definitely can't do all of these things, right? Because you certainly can, depending on what is your field is. But my field is up to this point: data analysis, automations, data visualization, machine learning, AI, math, but not a web developments and then web application. So I have built one app, but it still takes a lot of time. So that's not what I do every day. So in this video, so I am going to focus on data visualizations, right? So I'll make another videos on machine learning and then also automations, data analysis, and then AI and all those. But for this video, let's focus on data visualization. So if you like this, then please like, comment, or subscribe. So it will motivate me to make another videos on machine learning, automations, and AI and all the other those things. So hey, thanks for watching. So let's get started. Let's start coding basically, and let's make how to turn this crappy or the very entry level graph into, are you ready, into this beautiful business friendly storytelling graph that tells a lot of story. So here's one important tips I can give it to you, okay? So every time you work on a project, always make it real. So don't just make it like you're doing it for fun. So what I'm talking about that. So let's say, for example, you're trying to build that beautiful chart that I showed you earlier. So let's make it like, let's make it real. So in that case, let's imagine like you work for this hospital called Scott's, Baylor, Scott's, and White. So let's say you are a data scientist or data analyst for that hospital, and let's make a chart using their theme, because you're let's pretend like you're presenting it to the director of this Baylor, Scotts and White, or the stakeholder of this hospital. So let's use theme color, like their theme color, which is this one, and some looks like yellow. So let's make our chart that will look like we are doing analysis for Baylor, Scott, and White HR department. Okay, so let's work on it. So so first of all, let's get all the library that we need. So here is the library that we need, and then let's import. So these are we'll be using NumPy, Pandas, Matplotlib, and Seaborn. And then let's import their data. Let's say this is the HR data for Baylor, Scott, and White healthcare. Okay, so let's load the data. So we have the data now. So what we're doing here is analysis of their HR employee data. Okay, And then once you have the data, let's look up what data has. So the data has some information about employee numbers, their attritions, age, business travel, departments, and then education fields, and so on and so forth. So it has like total, let's just say how many df dot shape. So we have about 2,940 employee and 35 different attributes. Okay, so earlier the graph that you saw, right? So we can the graph that you saw was built using this code. Okay, so let me get the code. So what you would do is like you just get like figure size, right? We want to seaborn count plot, data equals to this data set, x equals to education fields, right? Let's say we're trying to build a graph for education fields. So this is how it looks like. So we can make it look even better. So let's work on this, right? So we'll do it step by step. Okay, so first of all, let's do our calculations manually, means like in a way that we can understand, right? So what I'm doing here is creating a new data set, and then I'm grouping it by education field. And from there, I only want employee count column, and then I want to sum it. I want to sum it by each of these education field, right? Basically, how many employee belongs to each of these education field, like life science, other medical, and so on and so forth. And once I have that, so I want to sort that value by employee count, and then ascending equals to false. So I have the data set ready, the new subset ready. So once I have that, so what I want to do next, so I also want to do, want to calculate this DF rate, right? So I'll explain this later on why I'm doing this. So, but for now, I'm doing basically similar thing, but just instead of sum, I'm taking a mean. Okay. So next, okay, let's start building your graph. So first of all, let's set up our figure size, right? If you just do now, so you will just see plt dot so. So this is just how big is your chart going to be. So once we have that, so let's start by plotting our initial chart, which is going to be that. So right, axis equals to seaborn bar plot, data equals, we already have the data. So color equals to let's just say this for now, right? We'll fix the color later. And then our x is going to be education field, and y is going to be your employee. So let's run this guy. I need a bracket here. So let's run this guy. So this is how it looks like, okay? This graph. Now let's make it even better. Let's keep changing, right? So let's say we want to annotate the bar. So because most of the time, trust me, they want to see the number. If we just present as it is, then they don't know how many counts are in life science, how many in medical. I mean, I don't mean they don't know. They know, but they don't have time to go and figure this one out. Okay, so we want to make things easier for stakeholder, where they can see everything in one shot, in one look, because they're so busy and they don't have time to go through all that, right? So for this one, what I'm going to do is I'm going to look through this axis.patches, and then I'm going to annotate that. I mean, basically means put the number in that a graph. So dot format. So what it does is it plots the graph, and then it puts that number, like for example, how many employee are under life science, how many under medicals, right? So it's going to put that in each of this graph, right? And then so let's say vertical is left, we want it left, and we want it on the center, and the size of the text, how big your text you want, and then also XY text, like which locations do you want that. And so if you just run this code, you will see, look at that, now it's looking better, right? So let's keep going, let's make it even better. So let's say we want to add we want to compare all these compare all this with respect to the average line, right? On average line. So let's just do that. Average means like average, what is the average count and which department has the highest count. So if we do that, add average, no, not average, average line, right? So axis horizontal line, no, sorry, yeah, horizontal line. And what do I want that horizontal line to be? I want that to be employee count average, and I want the color to be gray, and I want to have that style as a dotted line, right? And then box means like I also want to show some box that says it's an average employee, right? So that's what the box means. And face color equals to gray means you want to make that box look at that. This is, I want it to be gray, right? And then I want to show a text called average employee count, right? And then this one, what is it does, it aligns like where do you want this text to be. So axis.text position. So if you just play around with this one, for example, let's say this, right? So it just goes left and right. And then this one, this one goes up, top, and the bottom, like up and down, right? So for these, you'll just have to play around. But if you just copy and paste these numbers, it will work most of the time. But if not, then you'll just have to make the adjustment, right? And then font size, how big you want, and then this box is just this box, and then color, and then transform axis.trans axis. So you have to do that. If not, then it won't work. For somebody, it's kind of weird. So next, what I want to do is let's just make it even better, right? Let's remove all the unnecessary line that's out there, right? This line, that line, and all that. So what we can do is we can add this code here. So I'm just trying to make it easier and faster. So plt.rc param axis.spin left. That means remove the line from the left, keep the line on the right, and then keep the line, remove the line from the top. And then let's give it a nice y levels and also x levels, right? And then you also want to give it a subtitle and then title. So if you run this code, so let me just remove one of this. So look at that. Now it's even looking much better, right? So for some reasons, when you first try this one, right, this axis.rc param, it won't work the first run. So you have to run it again. So now it works. Look at that. All these unnecessary lines are removed. Now it's looking much better. So if you look at this previous graph that I showed you on the PowerPoint, now it's getting closer to looking that way, right? Now let's add a line that says about average rate. So this is what it's saying, like most of the employee belongs to life science, and then medical and marketing and technical degree, right? So what we want to do is like on top of that, let's superimpose another line which is going to be a DF rate. So like how much on daily rate, what is the daily rate for each of the employee, or the average rate for employee for this for life science, for medical and market. So let's do that. So how do we do that? So let's add another line plot on top of this bar plot. So, and it's pretty simple. So all you need to do is create some empty space here, and then it's a layer. We're putting one on top of the other. So SNS.line plot, and data equals to df rate, y equals to your y is your daily rate, and your x equals to already like education's field right here. And then a marker means like you want the dot, and you can also do a star by changing this like this, but let's just do the dot. And then color equals to now remember earlier I said we have to make it business friendly. So I'm trying to use a theme color of these, like I don't know what do you call, like kind of bluish green and a yellow. So I want this to be yellow, and then a marker size to be 10. So let's run this guy. Look at that. So it's looking better, right? Now, what we want to do is we also want to show the number on this line, just like we did for this one, because we also want to make things easier for stakeholder, right? So we want them to see what is this average, what is this called? Average, what is, I forgot, daily rate. So I have daily rate for each of this department or education field. So we can do that by running this piece of code, which is going to be, so let's put it right here on here. All right. So we just want to enumerate this education field, and from there we want to grab the value for each row and then put it and then place it as a text, plt.text xy value yy. So if you look at that, now it's looking better. Now you can see the numbers, right? But we don't know this, like what does this line means, because there is we don't have the legend. So let's just put the text around here that says, okay, this means the daily rate. So let's go and do that. Let's code. So right, I'm gonna put it right here underneath. So what I want to do is a daily rate, text equals to daily average daily rate. Wait one second. Maybe that's not what I want. Average employee. Yeah, that's what I want. So let's just run these. Look at that, average daily rate. Now the text appears. So now it's easier for them to look at this. What does this bar means? What this line means? Its name, and what does each of these dot means, and what is the count on each of this line. So it's looking great, right? It's looking great. So what else we are missing? let's say color, right? Let's change the color. Color means, let's say this is the lowest, right? These two are the lowest. So what if you want them to, you want your stakeholder to focus only on these low numbers, others and human resources. Like we're trying to say, hey, why is this low? So let's pay some attention. So to do that, what we want to do is we want to keep all this color as it is, and let's say change this to something like red or so. So to do that, what you need to do is, let's first create a for, I mean, a simple for loop, right? So to change the color, so color equals to, I want this color, which is I think about red color, if x means if the value of this count, right? Count, if the count is greater than or no, it's not red, it's this green color, greater than 260. Otherwise, I want this to be a red. And what it's doing is it's going through each of those employee count, right? And then doing this calculation. So if you run now, I want to change this color right here. So earlier we have just this color. Now let's mute this and then change the palettes to color. Now look at that. Look at that. So see, now this looks very beautiful, right? So it can tell a lot of story, and it's next level than just the or entry level bar plot. So that's all I got, guys. If you have any questions, feel free to comment.